Hey everyone, welcome to another installment of Harry Potter Theory. Today we're going to be discussing something that I've talked about on the channel before, only this time we're going to be looking at it with the inclusion of new information from the latest Harry Potter game, Hogwarts Legacy. I am of course talking about the scene from the Deathly Hallows where Molly Weasley, the sweet caring mother, stands up for her daughter and kills one of the most infamous Death Eaters in the wizarding world, Bellatrix Lestrange. More specifically, we'll be taking a look at how it happened and what spells may have enabled this nurturing mother to take down one of the most powerful dark witches in history. Let's dive in. In the Deathly Hallows Part 2, there's a lot going on. Voldemort is regaining immense levels of power, Hogwarts is under siege from Death Eaters, and the characters we'd grown to love over the years suddenly start dropping off like flies. But while the Battle of Hogwarts certainly had a healthy number of fatalities, not all of them were quite so sad. The deaths of characters like Remus Lupin, Severus Snape and Fred Weasley undoubtedly pulled on our heartstrings, but we also got to witness the death of some less favourable characters, one of the most significant being Bellatrix Lestrange. In the midst of the chaotic Battle of Hogwarts, many memorable moments occurred, but one that particularly stood out to me was Molly Weasley's defeat of Bellatrix Lestrange, which demonstrated the power of love. Amidst the flying jets of light and widespread fighting between witches and wizards, Molly, a loving and nurturing mother figure to Harry Potter and the Weasley family, found herself engaged in a battle with one of the wizarding world's most feared witches. Bellatrix's fearsome reputation was well earned, having murdered and tortured copious witches and wizards. But she wasn't just evil, she was powerful too. Her impressive magical abilities and dangerous nature made her one of the most formidable witches of her time. Let's revisit the passage from the book. "Not my daughter, you," yelled Molly. Mrs. Weasley threw off her cloak as she ran, freeing her arms. Bellatrix spun on the spot, roaring with laughter at the sight of her new challenger. "Out of my way," shouted Mrs. Weasley to the three girls, and with a swipe of her wand she began to duel. Harry watched with terror and elation as Molly Weasley's wand slashed and twisted, and Bellatrix Lestrange's smile faltered and became a snarl. Jets of light flew from both wands. The floor around the witch's feet became hot and cracked. Both women were fighting to kill. "What will happen to your children when I've killed you?" taunted Bellatrix, as mad as her master, capering as Molly's curses danced around her. "When Mummy's gone the same way as Freddie, you will never touch our children again," screamed Mrs. Weasley. Bellatrix laughed, the same exhilarated laugh her cousin Sirius had given as he toppled backward through the veil. And suddenly, Harry knew what was going to happen before it did. Molly's curse soared beneath Bellatrix's outstretched arm and hit her squarely in the chest, directly over her heart. Bellatrix's gloating smile froze. Her eyes began to bulge. For the tiniest space of time, she knew what had happened, and then she toppled, and the watching crowd roared, and Voldemort screamed. And just like that, the entirely unassuming mother figure Molly Weasley had defeated the infamous Bellatrix Lestrange. In one fell swoop, Molly's actions symbolized the triumph of love and courage over evil and cruelty. But I have to ask, other than being on the receiving end of an unidentified curse, what actually caused Bellatrix to die? In the book, her eyes bulged and she toppled over, but in the movie, she was blown into 1,000 pieces. What curses did Molly use? And what caused Bellatrix to explode? First, let's establish what we have to work with. The book just tells us that an unnamed curse hits Bellatrix in the chest, causing her to topple over and die. No incantation or spell color is referenced. The movie, however, shows us a bit more. In the film, Molly fires 2 spells at Bellatrix. One white spell, which seems to freeze and contract Bellatrix's body, then a red spell, which blows her to pieces. I'm going to tell you right now that if you go by the books alone, then the answer to this question is a lot more straightforward. A curse of some kind is referenced, and Bellatrix instantly dies. The logical explanation here would be that Molly simply used Avada Kedavra, aka the Killing Curse. She may not have died entirely instantaneously, but the effects of the Killing Curse do tend to vary a little bit in the books. But that still doesn't explain any of what went on in the film. Avada Kedavra is neither white nor red in colour, and the way that Bellatrix died is certainly not representative of the more ethereal death faced by victims of the Killing Curse. The first spell that Molly fires at Bellatrix is white in colour and has two effects. It causes Bellatrix to freeze, and it also causes her body to contract. In my mind, the most obvious choice for the first spell is Petrificus Totalis, aka the Full Body Bind Curse. Petrificus Totalis stiffens a person's limbs so they cannot move. Only the person's eyes are free while the spell is in effect. The spell definition takes careful note of the fact that only the eyes are free to move, and it also just so happens that Bellatrix's eyes are specifically referenced after she's hit with the curse. Petrificus Totalis is a strong contender here. Another possibility is the freezing spell, aka Glacius, a charm that freezes targets with ice-cold air created from the tip of the wand. Hogwarts Legacy fans will probably be thinking of this one. But that still doesn't explain the whole being blown to smithereens thing. What was the second spell that Molly used? In Harry Potter lore, there are two spells that fit the bill here. The first is Reducto. With this powerful curse, skilled wizards can easily reduce obstacles to pieces. For obvious reasons, great care must be exercised when learning and practicing this spell. But the issue with Reducto is that it's blue, not red. The next place my mind goes here is to Bombarda Maxima, aka the most powerful variant of the exploding charm. This spell produced large violent explosions capable of demolishing entire walls. The issue, well, Bombarda isn't red either. So what spells did Molly use on Bellatrix? Well, the truth is that this magic may have simply been something we haven't seen before. Enter Hogwarts Legacy. With the release of Hogwarts Legacy, one particular type of magic has been brought to the forefront of our minds: ancient magic. For a deep dive on ancient magic, you're going to have to watch my video, History of Ancient Magic, but for now, let me briefly summarize. The term ancient magic refers to powerful, complex spells and rituals that have been passed down through wizarding history for thousands of years. Obscure but incredibly mighty magic that is shrouded in mystery and is dissipated over the course of time. In fact, by the time Harry Potter was born, ancient magic was extremely uncommon. The only significant pointers to this type of magic in the Harry Potter story stem from baby Harry, Lily Evans, and the power of love. Lily famously used the power of love, a form of ancient magic, to cast sacrificial protection and save Harry from Voldemort's killing curse. A mother saving her child. And in what other scenario do we see a mother doing everything in her power to save her child? Why, when Molly Weasley kills Bellatrix to save Ginny, of course. After playing Hogwarts Legacy, all I can say is this: the spells that Molly used to kill Bellatrix look a lot like ancient magic to me. What do you guys think? Was this ancient magic? Petrificus Totalis? Glacius? Bombarda? What spells did Molly use to seal Bellatrix's fate? Leave a comment down below. Until next time, remember, it does not do to dwell on dreams and forget to live.